speed here. Wow. Great, thank you. Okay, Jeff, ready to maneuver again.
Okay, here you go.
Pilot Jeff Ashby at the controls of the shuttle's robotic arm, the Canadarm. Maneuvering Canadian Space Agency astronaut Chris Hadfield into position to install the UHF antenna on the Destiny laboratory. The UHF antenna will supply communications for future space station spacewalks to be performed from a joint airlock module that will be launched on the next shuttle assembly mission, and also provide communications, ship-to-ship communications between the station and the shuttle during docking and undocking operations.
Body time closest forearm to lab, and I guess you're watching that, huh? Looks good.
We'll let you know when it shows.
Roger that. That's going to be a beautiful shot. Yeah, I'll say with the Earth coming to life underneath. The sun glint on the tail of the orbiter. That's a beautiful thing. Look at that. Wow.
Hey, Scott, your helmet cam picture is great. If you can keep looking at Chris, we're recording some awesome video right now.
Okay, great. Oh, man. Oh. Thanks, Susan. Look at that below. Hold the boom itself, and I can move it towards you another 2 feet right now. Sure. Well, let's get into optimum body position, and then yeah, let Jeff keep going until he thinks he needs a GCA. Right. Oh, man.
On the antenna.
Hey, GCS is
And
Okay, let me move this left here. Okay. I have it. I see you have that end. Now, I think you want to A6 clockwise 2, 30.5 for 5 turns in the star pattern if you agree.
yeah, I didn't quite copy all that. Scott, say again.
A6 clockwise 2, 30.5 for 5 turns in a star.
Good read. 5 turns, and then about later on, it's going to be another 11 to 15.
Okay. There's 5.
Which bolt are you working on, Scott?
I did number 1. Chris, if you can just kind of, oh, doesn't look like it. Number 1 did take. Gotta feed it further, I guess. Took a while to drop in. That's 5 turns to number 2, John. Here we go with number 3.
Okay.
I'm going to verify that that's in. Okay, it is. 5 turns. Okay. So, Chris, you're cleared off the work site. You just make sure your tethers are clear. Now, this whole thing can still slide up and down on those bolts, but that's okay, right?
Start moving the boom.
Okay. Here we go.
We're rolling film.
Great. Boy, it's moving beautifully. It is, yeah. Look at that. Looks just right. Look at that. Yeah, I'm about to engage the zip nut. There it goes. Ratcheting in. Great. Perfect. All right. Looks good. Right where we wanted it.
Slap pallet. As you mentioned, there are 8 super bolts, what's called super bolts, that have held the Canadarm2 to the SLP for launch. These will be released by Chris Hadfield and Scott Perezinski. There are 2 types of super bolts, heavy end and light end super bolts. This is called the heavy end here, where we have the actual joint clusters, and this is called the light end because we only have the hinges that will be secured later on. These are called super bolts because they're fairly large. They're about 1 meter long, and they're fairly heavy, between 10 and 20 pounds. The way they are, this here is what the top of the super bolt looks like. We have here 4 jack bolts that actually tighten the super bolts. These jack bolts will be released in sequence by Scott and Chris. And once these are released, then they can go ahead and release the super bolts and stow them on the SLP.
Extremely tight for launch. I take it that's the reason for the jack bolts around the top.
That's correct. The jack bolts actually make sure that the super bolts are held tight and they will not loosen up during launch.
And once the super bolts are removed, the next task that will be performed will be unfolding of the arm initially, or actually an initial boom raise for the arm. How does that proceed?
That's correct. Once the jack bolts are removed, then astronaut Scott Perezinski will be positioned at the light end, and he will simply push that light end up this way. This maneuver is necessary to give him access to the expandable diameter fasteners, or EDFs. I have one of them right here. This is the actual EDF, actual size. Put it in the camera shot. And it gives them access to these EDFs, so that these EDFs are used to secure the hinge once this part is flipped over.
In the initial boom raise, lifting it up that Scott Perezinski will perform, that's a approximately 3,000 pound arm. What's the difficulty in lifting that boom up manually, as he will be doing?
As you know, in space, we're not working against the weight. We're mostly working against the mass inertia, as well as the friction in the joints themselves. It's compared to about 64 pounds of force, which is fairly easily done by the crew that's secured to the SLP.
Okay, thank you. Task at hand for Chris Hadfield and Scott Perezinski. The next task, the deploy of the Canadarm2.
This one looks in about the same state. This looks like it's been rubbed.
This is Mission Control Houston. Currently on board, the crew removing thermal blankets on the arm.
Definitely not pristine.
That's right, James. Right now, we can see on this model, this is the CLPA, or Camera Light Pan Tilt Assembly, pan tilt unit assembly. Once the arm is receiving Keep Alive power, unless we remove these blankets, then these units could heat up. So this is what they're doing right now.
So astronaut Chris Hadfield just completing the removal of a blanket from this camera box, and a camera box similar to it on the other side of the arm as well. The task that they're completing. Once that's completed, they'll turn their attention to the super bolts and releasing the meter-long bolts, 8 of them that hold the arm in position.
That's right.
First, external television cameras.
Yes, James. As you know, there are 4 different cameras on the arm. There are 2 cameras on the booms, on the 2 booms, and these cameras have pan and tilt units, as we said. There's also 2 cameras on the end effectors. Those do not pan and tilt. So these cameras will provide images of the station of the arm as we're maneuvering the arm. And they are all color cameras.
And again, those cameras will see their first pictures sent transmitted to the station and then to Earth as well later today.
Once again, the scale model of the jack bolts and the four different jack bolts that are being released right now to allow the Scott and Chris to release the super bolts. And they are released. These jack bolts have to be released in a proper sequence so that they don't jam.
Some of them are floating free. Yeah, we're getting real good camera views on both you guys now. And Jeff, down towards my feet, please. Coming down. Temperature's great. All my bayonet fittings are fine. You have it. Thanks, sir.
Coming back at you. Oh, the insert.
Correct. It goes to the, not the furthest insert, the next one.
Well, it goes a little bit beyond that. I guess I should just take it to the first insert.
I think so. I think that'll give the most secure, even though if it gets, it depends how you want it to sit on those little,
They're going to vibrate a little bit on entry, but
they sure won't go anywhere.
they're not going anywhere. Nope.
Scott Parazynski's securing the bolts, all 8 of which have been removed now.
30.5 for about 5 turns, John?
Correct, Scott.
About to close the cover on the quiver where those bolts were installed, secure for the trip home aboard the Spacelab pallet. All the 8 super bolts, yard-long bolts that held the arm in place during its launch have been removed now.
Okay, I guess I go to egress, huh? Coming down for egress.
Next step in the process is to initially raise the boom, the still folded boom of the arm, that in preparation folding, which will follow that initial raise.
At least I'll hold on to it, Jeff. You unfold it. That's just for my ear. Here we go.
John, did you have a question for me?
That's good motion. No, I didn't, Scott. Okay. Good motion.
Hadfield holding the arm now as pilot Jeff Ashby of Endeavour begins lifting to unfold it.
1 degree a second, I think, is what we're targeting for the eddy current damper.
Endeavour and the International Space Station are 238 miles above the mid-Atlantic Ocean.
Coming real nice, Jeff. Perfect. Look at the size of this thing.
Look, you got about 20, 25 degrees in there. Looks real good.
Coming real well.
All the EDF.
Changing hands. This is all good motion.
Unfolded, the Canada Arm 2 measures about 25 feet in length. Once it's in use with the booms operating and the elbow joint fully extended, it measures as much as 58 feet in length, almost 58 feet.
What an absolutely spectacular view.
Out of this world. Look, it's about 45 degrees or so.
Yeah, it's doing a beautiful job.
Real smooth.
You get an MS Union card, for sure.
Yeah, Jeff, you could become a fine MS one day.
Right.
We're going to nominate you for promotion after the flight.
Coming real nicely, Jeff. It's like like you're following Jill's map real well across here. Working out nicely. We're going to have to watch the outboard grounding straps as we get closer. I think they're going to wind up out of the way, but they're trending towards the soft dock as you come across. Okay. Keep an eye on it. Thanks.
As Canadian Space Agency astronaut Chris Hadfield holds the elbow joint and unfolds the arm, astronaut Scott Parazynski is watching the joints, the folded joints of the booms that are coming together, that after the arm is fully unfolded will be
John, can you see my helmet cam?
those boom hinges will be secured in place to rigidize the arm in its normal full open mode.
The wing of Endeavour and shuttle arm. It goes so wide too. It's just beautiful. Yeah, it's an awesome view.
This is a view from Chris Hadfield's helmet-mounted camera now.
90 now, Chris? Yep, I agree. Looks real good. Everything's well within my reach, Jeff. It's been real nice. The alignment looks excellent. Coming towards the soft dock. Hey guys, we're rolling ICBC film. Good to hear.
The Canada Arm 2
Release is expected. Like you just did on this side.
unfolding a new era in space robotics with the Endeavour below as the two sail 240 miles above the Atlantic Ocean. The shuttle and station will make landfall
Good to have a little compliance there. Yeah, I agree.
above the British Isles.
Hey, the alignment looks great. I don't think the a little bit more orbiter port, please.
Chris Hadfield and Scott Parazynski just passing 3.5 hours working outside the shuttle and station now.
Body position there now.
We copied your question.
Hey,
We're
Scott,
checking into it.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to switch to Scott Cam on our downlink, and Scott, I'm going to try to switch you to your tightest lens, and then I'll try to GCA you into the spot. Okay, so righty-tighty, so be my right lens. Stop. And Scott, I'm just sort of letting the arm float. Let me know if you want it to go any particular direction. Okay, yeah, no further in if you can help it. I can open it a little too if you want. This is probably okay. Okay.
Now from a camera at the midway point of the shuttle arm.
There we go. Mine did not come out this time. I got 16.3 at 0.77 turns. Not very much. And I can just back it out with light pressure. Let me see if I can retorque it. Okay, thanks. What is responsible for part of this? It would be better at still warm.
Once again, we're receiving downlink television pictures from the helmet cams of the spacewalkers.
19, and I got 1.39 turns, and it's staying in. Now I'll go over to the one that wouldn't stay in before, B, outboard upper. Yeah, this is all sounding pretty good, guys. We got anywhere from a half a turn to 1.4 turns on all of these bolts. Yep. Okay, very good, Chris. Scott, I'd like you to try AM board lower again with the Bravo 3 setting. Okay, there you go. Hey, Houston Endeavour, I hope you're copying all this. and let us know whether you want us to proceed with a final torquing, which is 25 foot-pounds.
And we're ready for the final torque setting, A6, 25.5.
Roger, thank you.
Okay. Just getting a little bit of a turn every time, but I got one turn total, it says. Kicking out at 25 every time. Let me give it the torture test here.
Okay.
Not Scott's torture test, but my own. Hey, don't break it in the solid yet. All right, I'm ready for B inboard upper.
Okay, B inboard upper.
Better breathe. Okay.
Endeavor, Houston, for EVA.
Go ahead.
John, we know y'all have been real busy up there, but we're wondering if at the end you're going to be able to give us an estimate of how many turns total have occurred per bolt.
I think we can add up what they've called down digitally, but if you've heard, both Chris and Scott feel that the counter isn't fully counting, or it's undercounting the actual turns they're getting, and they're getting kind of a recoil when it hits the torque limit.
Yeah, we've been
So we may not really have an accurate estimate.
copying that. An estimate will be good, and if at the end you want to read us all those, figures, and we'll add them up down here.
Okay.
John, on that bolt, 1.53 turns. It seemed to turn fairly positively, and it's in there solid now. My turn?
Your turn, Scott, on A outboard lower.
Okay.
Chris, your next is A inboard upper. In terms of a turn, sounds pretty good. Chris, Alpha outboard upper.
Hey, Scott, I picked up Andros Island down behind me there. Bahamas. Yes, it is. That's spectacular. One of the Bahamas are beautiful. Great diving there. Never goes there. Okay, John, I am, let me just double check. Right clockwise, ratchet clockwise, it is off. I have 30.5 set, and I'm ready on A outboard upper. Here we go.
That's good read, Chris.
Like winding up the world's biggest clock.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I don't blame you. Shoot.
Look back and you'll see the Alps, France, Italy, and Switzerland back there.
I plan on it. Let's see.
Endeavor, Houston, for EVA.
Houston, go ahead.
John, in order to end the EVA on time, the DCSU task is off the plate. We'll plan to do that as scheduled for EVA 2. We do have one cleanup question for Scott, and that is we want to make sure that the quiver tabs are not over the rivets on the super bolts.
Just one moment, Katie, and I will answer that question for you. I've got this guy, Scott. Okay. Mass handling. Okay, great. I can release. Okay, you can release that guy, sure. You got it? I have it. Release. Okay, Jeff, I'm ready to go up and around the arm to grab the other cable guide, I think. Okay.
pop-up indicator works.
Great.
I see it. And the hook is opening.
Even better.
There's the hard stop. Yeah, and I counted about 12 or 13 turns on your second go-around on that. Yeah, I had a total of about 24, maybe 25 turns. This one's clockwise. No, the outer hook link on the Alpha boom is counterclockwise. I'm on the Bravo boom. Oh, okay. Bravo boom. Oh, look at that horizon. You're correct. Clockwise to Alpha 7, 30.5. That is a beautiful horizon, Jeff. Man. Look at that. So, Chris, did you start on the Bravo boom, or have you already done a link on Alpha? I started on the Bravo boom because I was already here. Okay, sounds good. It's a beautiful sight. Every color in the rainbow. And all the layers, wow, really distinct. Okay. Let me see if I can reach it comfortably, Jeff. I can, so just hold this position. Roger. Let me double check, I'm in clockwise, and here we go.
John, the 4 Superbolt covers are complete.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Time to limber up and head on over to Z1. I bet you're tired of being up on the pallet, aren't you?
I'm not tired at all. I could do this for a long, long time. This is incredible.
Can you give us an explanation with your model as to what's going to happen next?
Okay, this view here shows the current configuration of the Canadarm2. They've just finished tightening the EDFs on the hinges, which are these two hinges here, halfway along the booms. The next step, as I mentioned, is the final boom raise, which will take the arm to the following configuration, more or less, where the booms are more or less perpendicular to the latching end effector, which we see right here, and this will allow the step off tomorrow morning.
Everything just behaved just right, and I thought I counted 19 turns, so beats me. I don't know why it showed 36 turns. But okay. Okay, Jeff.
Arm operator Jeff Ashby is in the process of moving Chris Hadfield back into the payload bay to the airlock area so he can work on cleanup for post-spacewalk activities. Meanwhile, on board the International Space Station, crew members Susan Helms and Jim Voss are in the process of getting ready to check out the video distribution unit system for the new Canadarm2 cameras. They'll be panning and tilting those cameras, making sure that the system is providing the views they'll need to operate the camera once they continue the check out of the arm and begin the efforts to walk it off of its Space Lab pallet onto the Destiny Laboratory module grapple fixture tomorrow.
Loose, but not quite released. There we go. I'm tethered. Let me get that on the other side of that guy.
And Scott, thanks again, and it's a big deal north of 49, so we look forward when you get to Canada.
Okay, great. Chris, I'm heading on in.
Hey, John, you ready for that tool inventory?
Coming up very shortly on our mission status briefing for today.
Okay. Net transfer is complete.
And it looks secured.
No, it's on the port EAP.
And it's got got 2 bags of laundry and 2 hinge clamps, right?
That is correct.
Correct.
Now a piece of wire tie.
Okay, very good. Could you, Scott, could you read out your waist tether and safety tether config to me, the daisy chain that is?
Once we get it, yes, we will.
Pause. And what we'd like to do is,
Rose is really disappointed.
you know, I've flown with him, and y'all are real lucky.
It's too late for that. Check both your waters off.
They are. Check.
Disconnect waist tethers and attach to EMU.
Done. Complete.